and girls, welcome back to Gammie's Bedtime Stories. I'm Gammie, and I'm so happy that you could join me tonight for story time. I hope you've had a wonderful, blessed day, filled with laughter and joy. No matter what you've been doing, I hope it's been a great day for you. So without further ado, let's get right on into our story. The reading tonight, permission's been given by Cottage Door Press, and the name of our story tonight is Rumpelstiltskin. Once upon a time, there was a poor miller who had just one daughter. She was very beautiful, and he told many people about her. One day, the king rode through the village. The miller desperately wanted to impress the king. Your Highness, my daughter is very pretty and very smart, he said. But the king took no notice. She can also spin straw into gold. The miller lied. That's not a good thing, is it, boys and girls? We should tell the truth. We should not ever lie. We need to be honest and always tell the truth. Your daughter must be very clever. Bring her to the palace tomorrow so I can see for myself, demanded the king. So the miller, he didn't dare disobey the king. So the next day, he brought his daughter to the palace. The king led the girl to a room filled with straw. On the floor stood a little stool and a spinning wheel. Spin this straw into gold by tomorrow morning, or you'll be thrown into the dungeon, said the king. Then he left the room and he locked the door. Well, what's she going to do? The poor miller's daughter sat down on the stool, and she gazed at all the straw around her. She started crying at this impossible task before her. All of a sudden, the door sprang open, and in came the strangest little man she had ever saw in her whole life. Well, why are you crying? He said. I have to spin all this straw into gold before morning, but I don't know how, replied the girl sadly. If you give me your pretty little necklace, I will spin this straw into gold, said that strange little man. Oh, thank you, gasped the girl, wiping away all of her tears and handing over her pretty little necklace. The little man, he sat down in front of the spinning wheel, and he set right off to work. All night long, the little man spun and spun, and by morning, the room was filled with reels of gold. And just as suddenly as he had appeared, well, that strange little man, he disappeared. There he is. He just up and vanished. Let's see what happens next, boys and girls. When the king arrived, he was astonished to see so much gold. You've done very well, he said. But I wonder if you can do the same thing again. He took the miller's daughter to a much bigger room. It too was filled with straw. Spin this straw into gold by tomorrow morning, or you'll be thrown into the dungeon, said the king. And once more, he locked the girl in the room. The miller's daughter, she was so afraid. The strange little man, well, he appeared before like he did last time. Don't cry, he said. Give me, your shiny ring, and I will spin the straw into gold. She handed over her ring gratefully, and the little man, he set right off to work. Once again, all the straw was turned into gold. The king, he was so delighted and wanted to try one more time. "If you can do this again, you shall be my queen," cried the king. The poor miller's daughter, she cried even more than she did before this time when the king left. "Well, why are you crying?" said the little old man, appearing for the third time. "You know that I'll help you." "But I have nothing left to give you," cried the little girl. "If you become queen," replied the little man, "you can give me your first-born child." The desperate miller's daughter agreed to the man's request, and once again he spun all the straw into gold. The king was so delighted when he saw all the gold the next day that he kept his promise and he married the miller's daughter. Now what's she gonna do? She done made a promise to that little old feller, that little old man. She done made a promise to him about her firstborn child. Let's see what happens. The new queen, well, she was so very happy and soon forgot about the promise that she'd made to the strange little man who saved her from the dungeon. A year later, the king and queen, they had a beautiful baby boy. Late one night, the little man appeared in the queen's bedroom as she watched over her sleeping baby. "Well, I'm here for your baby," he said, "just as you promised." The queen was horrified. "Oh, please, please take all my jewels and all the money instead," she begged him, "not my son." "No," replied the little man, "you made a promise, but I'll give you 3 days. If in that time, you can guess my name, then you may keep your baby." The desperate queen, she agreed. The next day she sent messengers all over the kingdom to collect all the boys' names that they could find. That night, the strange man appeared again, and the queen read out the names that she had gathered. But after each name, he just laughed. The next day, the queen sent her messengers out to find even more names, and that night she read out the new names when the little man appeared. But once again, the queen's guesses, they were all wrong. Oh my goodness. What is she going to do, boys and girls? What is she going to do? Let's see. On the 3rd day, now this is her final day, the poor queen, she was desperate. She was just in despair. She was beside herself. She didn't know what she was going to do. It was getting late by the time her last messenger returned. "Your Highness, I haven't found any new names," he said, "but as I was returning home through the forest, I saw a little man leaping and dancing around a fire, singing a song. It went like this: The queen will never win my game, for Rumpelstiltskin is my name." The queen, she was so happy. She was overjoyed. When the little man appeared that night, the queen said, "Are you perhaps called, Rumpelstiltskin?" The little man, he was furious. He stomped his foot so hard it went through the floor. Then, pulling on his leg until he was free, he stomped right out of that room and was never seen nor heard from ever again. And the queen and the king and their son lived happily ever after. The end. Well, Gammie hopes you enjoyed our story tonight, Rumpelstiltskin, boys and girls. It was a good little story. That funny little man, he got all upset there at the end, didn't he? He didn't think nobody would ever guess his name. But the queen, she shouldn't have told a story, should she? She should have told the truth, and so should her father. But if you enjoyed our story tonight, Gammie hopes that you did. And if you did, I would love it if you would give me a big thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe to Gammie's Bedtime Stories. And until story time again, boys and girls, God bless you all and sweet dreams. Bye-bye.